We're here in Schriever, where, as you can see behind me, there are piles of branches 6 feet tall. There are shingles everywhere. And we spoke to some residents here who said they spent 5 hours so far cleaning up the surrounding areas, the neighbors' yards, their yards. And honestly, they tell me that they are grateful, actually, that it's not worse, similar to how it is in Houma.
We did do a lot of praying. And now we're just cleaning up. We've had some 4 of our trees in the front went down, and cleaning up and doing our part and helping our neighbors.
Hurricanes are no joke. I've seen people joke about it. Hurricanes are no joke at all. Even though this is my first real hurricane that I've been through, this is possibly the worst one I've been through so far. I wasn't born for Katrina, for Rita, but this one was definitely bad. But just like I say, hurricanes are no joke.
One thing residents tell me they wish they would have done better is to review their hurricane preparedness plans as well as the local evacuation routes in order to avoid, turned over fences as we see here and piles of branches 6 feet high, as well as those shingles that are lost in the streets as we speak. In Schriever, Taylor Toole, KATC TV3.
Happening tomorrow, the Franklin Fire Department will be headed to Houma. The firefighters say they want to do as much as possible to help those who were impacted by the storm.
Chief Bourgeois and I got together on yesterday, and he wanted to, send, some of the cavalry down to the Terrebonne Parish area and Houma in particular to help our brethren out in the Houma area.
And speaking of help, it continues to come. Help to get the lights back on coming from far and wide, including a team with Evergy Electric Services in Kansas City. It is sending more than 100 employees to impacted areas to help restore power. The team is in contact with Entergy. They will be on a 2-week rotation to help wherever they can.
DOTD is reporting nearly all interstates in Louisiana are now open to traffic following the storm. Crews have cleared the debris from the roads. The only exception at last check was I-55 North and I-10 West, where a power line is crossing the interstate. Colonial Pipeline is resuming operations after temporarily shutting down because of Hurricane Ida. The fuel transporter announced it restored service on 2 lines running from Houston to Greensboro, North Carolina. The pipeline will now carry oil and gas products from the facilities along the Gulf Coast. AT&T has an update on restoring services following the storm. The company reports progress in areas impacted by Ida, now at more than 85% restored. Services back to normal in Alabama and Mississippi is experiencing minimal impacts. The company says that 13 mobile satellite cell towers are on air and additional assets are on the way. Here in Acadiana, a lot of you might be wondering how you can help.
Several area organizations have already stepped up. Our Abby Breidenbach shares with us the simple ways you can send aid to our neighbors to the east.
For Second Harvest Food Bank, we've been in a disaster response since Laura hit last year.
Hurricane Ida is the food bank's 6th emergency effort in 18 months, and they can't make a dent without the help of volunteers and donations. Shelf-stable food is of huge importance, but it won't be the biggest need.
I cannot express enough the amount of water that's going to be needed to get into that area if they don't have good drinking water for 3 weeks. I mean, you're trying to serve hundreds of thousands of people water.
Second Harvest takes donations every week, but a special Hurricane Ida drive starts Friday. It will be a group effort with KATC, Second Harvest, Catholic Charities of Acadiana, United Way of Acadiana, and you. Volunteers will be ready at the United Way office on Pinhook to collect anything someone could need after a hurricane.
Simple items, personal items, deodorants, toothpaste. You realize if a store is not open for a week or 2, they have no access to this.
To help without even leaving your house, Catholic Charities of Acadiana set up an Amazon Prime storefront with shipping options straight to the warehouse. Second Harvest allows for online donations, too.
Every dollar somebody's donating to Second Harvest, we're able to provide 4 meals inside the community.
After Laura and Delta, Acadiana helped Second Harvest send more than 60,000 pounds of food. The need is now even greater this time. In Lafayette, Abby Breidenbach, KATC TV3.
And as you heard Abby mention, KATC partnering up with local charities to host a food and supply drive to benefit storm victims. Many are left behind without basic needs and need an extra hand with rebuilding and getting back on their feet. And here we are. Friday from 7 till 7, you can drop off donations at the United Way of Acadiana location at 215 East Pinhook Road in Lafayette. We have a full list of what's being accepted at KATC.com. LSU is remaining closed through Labor Day in order to give students and employees time to recover from the hurricane. The university will reopen on Tuesday, September 7th.
Tulane University is evacuating students because of power outages and other damage. This morning, the school started the evacuation process after announcing the campus would be closed. All classes are canceled through at least September 12th. The university said in a statement it's setting up a hub in Houston with food and accommodations until students can fly home. Homeowners and renters in the areas hit by Ida can now apply for FEMA assistance. That's for the parishes that you see there on your screen. The fastest and easiest way to apply is by going to disasterassistance.gov. You can also call 800-621-FEMA. And if you missed any of this information, we have it posted over at KATC.com.
Low-interest federal disaster loans are also now available to businesses and you. If you need to get in touch with someone, you can call 7 days a week from 7 until 7. The number is 800-659-2955. You can also find this information on our website. On to Mississippi now. 2 people are dead, 10 others injured after a chunk of Highway 26 collapsed near the state's border with Alabama. About 50 feet of highway was washed away, creating a hole about 20 feet deep. 7 cars fell into that hole. Cranes were used to pull them out. Officials believe the washout was caused by heavy rains from Hurricane Ida. And still to come right here on Acadiana's News Channel at 5, President Biden and lawmakers marking the end of America's longest war. The next steps that Americans now left in Afghanistan are in for. That coming up in just a bit.
And a flood warning in effect for Lafayette Parish till 8 o'clock. Slow-moving storms out there with gusty winds. We'll have the very latest coming up right after the break.
Detectives with the Acadiana Parish Sheriff's Office are investigating a shooting that occurred in the 100 block of Allison Drive in the Clearview subdivision. This incident occurred just before 9 p.m. on March 28th of 2021. An unknown suspect fired rounds into an occupied residence. Bullets entered the home, but no one was injured. A vehicle of interest was captured on video surveillance at the time of the shooting. It was traveling east on Lovell Street and is described as a light-colored 4-door pickup truck. If you have any information regarding this crime, you're urged to call the TIPS line at 789-TIPS or download our P3 app on your mobile device to report your tips anonymously. All calls will remain anonymous and can receive up to a $2,500 cash reward for information leading to an arrest in this case. Be the difference. For Crime Stoppers Acadiana Parish, I'm Sheriff KP Gibson.
If you have any information on this crime, call Crime Stoppers at 789-TIPS. You could earn up to a $1,000 cash reward. Forecast. Here's KATC Chief Meteorologist Rob Perillo.
Welcome back. Well, we said thunderstorms were going to be back, but this afternoon, not only are they back, but they're slow moving, producing very heavy rainfall. Flash flood warning for Lafayette through 8 o'clock tonight. We'll get to that in just a bit. Hey, here's a big picture. First off, as we go outside, as we look at power Doppler 3 here, and we had some threatening clouds already in the area, and you can see the base of those lower clouds darkening, and when they darken like that, they're usually getting ready to produce showers. And not much later, we saw thunderstorms developing out of those dark base clouds across the area. So be on the lookout and try to stay off the roads in Lafayette. You know how the street flooding goes, and we've had some 3-4 inches of rain at the very least in this slow-moving storm. Just an average thunderstorm in the summertime, but we can see we have slightly drier air off to the north. We have, it looks like, a little bit of last vestige of some of that tropical moisture left over from Ida. That is tropical depression, and that's been producing a good scattering of showers and storms from around the Lake Charles area. Man, it's popping on the south side of town through the National Weather Service area and southern portions of Acadiana Parish. And then we get into our part of the world. Notice a lot less lightning, so the storm over by Lake Charles really even more intense than what we're seeing right now. Most of the activity dropping to the south, and you can see scattered activity from western Evangeline Parish and into southwestern portions of Acadiana Parish by the Morse area, and then by Kaplan, a couple of storms. And the one over by Lafayette has been slow moving. We essentially had a little bit of a cell merger earlier. Now the storm is beginning to move on, but still producing very heavy downpours. In fact, let me get back to this and show you. Here we have the flood warning in effect for Lafayette Parish. You can see that warning from the I-10 corridor, I-10 and I-49 area and then on southeastward, and covers much of town. And let's just look at the rain totals here. The rain totals have been quite impressive. This area of yellow corresponding to 4 inches of rain, if not maybe a little bit more. And this has all come in the last hour and a half or so. So that's why we have the flash flooding going on. It seems to be worse over the southwestern and western portions of the city of Lafayette. In fact, we go to the National Weather Service radar. You can see it's shooting it up a little bit higher in the sky, but we also have Power Doppler 3 here and showing very heavy downpours down on the south side of town as we get toward Broussard as well. And just to the west of Youngsville, this action will be pushing on through over the next hour or so. You can see it's moving on, but it's slow to move. Haven't picked out anything on the velocity data, but gusts in the 30 to 40 mile per hour range certainly possible in this average summer thunderstorm, but it's been cooking out there this afternoon. These storms will diminish, though, as we go into the evening hours. And as for the tropics, well, we have Depression Ida here, and then out into the Atlantic, we still have a tropical depression, Kate, but this has got a limited future moving to the north. New tropical depression off to the east, more on that in just a bit. And we're watching a little bit of an area of disturbed weather just north of South America. This is going to be drifting westward. Still a low chance of development. No impending threats for the Gulf of Mexico for now, but we know it's the prime of hurricane season. And this tropical depression number 12, this one's going to become a hurricane, but too early to tell if it's going to impact land. We don't think it's going to be a Gulf of Mexico threat, but nonetheless, it's expected to become a Category 2 hurricane with time, and it's going to be in the open. This is just a 5-day forecast. It's going to be in the open Atlantic for at least the next 10 days, so we'll keep an eye on that system, but no threats close to home. As we look at the radar satellite composite on the forecast model, things quieting down tonight. Some storms near the coast first thing in the morning, and we're going to carry a pretty good chance of scattered showers and storms next couple of days, 50 to 60% for tomorrow. And again, the storms will be kind of slow moving and migrating all over the place. And then we get into Thursday. It gets a little bit more interesting, a mostly sunny start. Then storms develop in the afternoon and push, or late afternoon, and push southwestward across the area. I'm still going for a pretty good rain chance, and that's going to be associated with a frontal trough that should bring in slightly better weather as we head into Friday, Saturday, at least drier conditions as we head into the weekend. Near term, pretty good rain chances, but they calm down later tonight, tomorrow. Sun and cloud mix early. We know the drill with a scattering of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon hours. Rain chance tomorrow, 50 to 60% range. The same for Thursday. Friday into the weekend, though, rain chances down, temperatures still up, but the humidity coming down. So we'll go for lower 70s. The upper 60s we were talking about earlier this week or sometime over the weekend have disappeared for now, but maybe another chance as we go toward the end of next week. We'll have to wait and see on that. But no pending threats now for the Gulf of Mexico, and that is good news. But scattered storms, they're back and they're with us for 2 more days. Jim,
and we
Marcel?
hear them out there tonight. Okay, thanks, Rob. Still ahead tonight, just days shy of the 20th anniversary of 9/11. The final American soldier leaves Afghanistan. We'll have more on that coming up after the break.